So if you guys did not know this, the Las Vegas Raiders had their media day today, which means some of the players showed up and basically took pictures. They met with some of the fans as well. And more than that, we got some insight into some of these players. So you see here Fernando Mendoza obviously doing his thing for the camera. But we actually also got some information from some of the players. We got some quotes that ultimately came out. Plus, Nakobe Dean, there's an update on him, which we'll get into a little bit later on. And we're going to go ahead and just start right away with the title of the video. Maxx Crosby has apparently been putting on muscle, and he's apparently PR'd this morning, which means he's hit his personal records and all the different workout metrics. And this has me excited as hell, man. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Maxx Crosby is putting on muscle. Think about what that means, man. This is a guy who, for 2 to 3 straight years, essentially has had some sort of injury. And, more than that, some people have criticized him. Some Raider fans have said, hey, the Raiders should still look to trade Maxx Crosby. This is a guy who's motivated as hell, and now he's putting on muscle. He's getting stronger. He's going to just be a better overall player as we get into this next season. Now, I hope some Raiders reporter asked Maxx Crosby, how much muscle have you put on? Like, is it like 4 pounds? Is it like 15 pounds? Obviously, I'm sure someone will ask him, hopefully. But, just the report of Maxx Crosby putting it out there himself. The fact that this guy's able to let us know that his off-season work that he's been doing, has essentially translated him to putting on more muscle. And essentially every single one of his, past records, bench press, squat, deadlift, or whatever it is that he's measuring, he's essentially beat that as of this morning. So very, very, very excited about this one. I know some people have also said, Maxx Crosby has, he struggled with injury over the last couple of seasons. So I don't know if it's, his training and kind of what he does in the offseason. I don't know, right? But if Maxx Crosby isn't working out and looking to add muscle in the offseason, was he looking to just get faster? Was he looking to maybe lose a little bit of, weight and try to be quicker to potentially help his game, essentially, right? We don't really know. But we do know this season he's putting on muscle, so he's not doing some of what he did in the past. So, for me, I'm excited to see what Maxx Crosby kind of looks like this season. And, if he has a phenomenal season, we can look back at this point and say it's because he put on more muscle. Also, I talked about Maxx Crosby potentially being traded back on Friday because there was a rumor that Mike Florio had kind of put out there. Well, Maxx Crosby responded. Not to me, but to the reports that he may ultimately be traded. And he basically put this out late. I believe it was a Saturday. It may have been Friday. He put this out late where he said forever loading. And he basically quote tweeted where he talked about, how he's committed to the Las Vegas Raiders, essentially, right? And some people are taking this right here and saying Maxx Crosby is once again committing long-term to the Las Vegas Raiders, even though, Mike Florio and some of these other people, will put it out there and say Maxx Crosby is still going to end up getting traded. He's still at some point going to be moved. I think Maxx Crosby is just telling us, hey, I'm committed to the Las Vegas Raiders. In fact, if you guys did not know this, in the last 2 to 3 days, a lot of different websites and a lot of different writers and reporters have been essentially saying, hey, Maxx Crosby to the 49ers, Maxx Crosby to the Bears. And, everybody's talking about, with Myles Garrett essentially off the market now, that Maxx Crosby could be the next player to ultimately be traded. But I think Maxx Crosby is committing to the Raiders when he posts things like this. Of course, he's getting stronger. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm excited as hell for this season. You guys obviously know how I feel about the quarterback that we've gotten, the coach, just kind of how that's going to get paired up together, and just how we kind of grow as we go forward. And of course, Maxx Crosby is still here with the Las Vegas Raiders. That just adds another very, very, very talented player on that side of the field, obviously. So we'll see, man. We'll see what ends up happening. There's a couple more things that I want to get into. Obviously, media days today, so we got other quotes coming out from coaches, players, and we're basically going to just be looking at quotes, right? Just keep that in mind. Nick Walters put this out. Raiders head coach Klint Kubiak said the team is really counting on left tackle Kolton Miller, who told reporters, I feel really good after missing 13 games last season with a severe high ankle sprain. Klint Kubiak, very important that Miller has participated in OTAs. Our training staff has done a phenomenal job of progressing him. He's running with the first team, getting quality reps, and I think he is ahead of schedule. He's a very competitive guy. So Klint Kubiak is obviously saying Kolton Miller is a very, very, very important for us as a football team. And we're counting on Kolton Miller essentially. And Miller obviously says that he feels good after missing 13 games last season. What's interesting about Kolton Miller is last season, the first couple of games, I felt like he was having the best start to his NFL career. Like the way he looked in those first, 3 to 4 games, like he looked absolutely different, at least in my eyes. Keep in mind, I've watched Kolton Miller every single year on tape since his rookie season. And he's always just kind of gotten better and better and better. But I think he's at the point where he's essentially ready to lock in that, hey, I'm a top 5 left tackle in the NFL. And I think he might prove that this season. I think by the end of this season, a lot of people are going to start to say Kolton Miller is one of the top, 4 to 5 tackles in the NFL. Overall tackles. And I don't say that lightly, right? I don't say that lightly at all. And keep in mind, we're looking forward, not backwards, right? Like Trent Williams, to me, is not a top 5 tackle anymore. He was 5 years ago, but that's kind of shifted, right? He's not as good anymore. So, again, forward thinking, I think Kolton Miller ends up becoming a top 5 tackle this season. And I'm basing that based off of what he looked like last season. Remember, the seasons before that, Kolton Miller had surgery, had a shoulder thing kind of going on, and he's healthy, or he was healthy going into last season. Unfortunately, he had the ankle injury, which is different, obviously, than the shoulder injury. And again, I think going into this season, this guy's going to absolutely dominate. And as Klint Kubiak says, this guy's very important for the Las Vegas Raiders. Don't overlook this, man. When you draft a guy like Kolton Miller, when he came out of UCLA, this guy is fluid. This guy is a guy that has to develop his body. He has to develop and kind of mold into a player that he's kind of developed and molded into at this point. But when you brought him in from UCLA, he was, I don't want to use the word undersized, but he was not what he is today, and he was very fluid. So Kolton Miller's the type of guy that can play until he's 35, 36, 37 years old. Right? Kolton Miller is in like that Lane Johnson type of fluidity and movement. And, I think Kolton Miller is going to end up playing another 5 years for the Raiders. So this isn't a guy that's going to retire in 2 years. I think he'll easily play another 5 years. So I am excited to watch this guy, man. I think he's going to have a phenomenal season for the Las Vegas Raiders. Also, keep in mind, man, offensive tackles are not that easy to find. So we have our, future, or not future, but we have our long-term left tackle. I don't want to use the word future because he's already been here for a number of years. Future would be like, I don't know, maybe DJ Glaze, right? If he ends up being really good because he's still in his early 20s. But either way, man, I'm excited for Kolton Miller. We have a couple more quotes I want to kind of get into. Kwity Paye, who was also at the media day, gave some shout outs to some of these guys. And this one actually has me really excited because, I went live with Graf last week, I believe on Thursday, and Graf said that he was excited to watch Tonka Hemingway this season. I don't know if someone told him, one of the Raiders players may have told him, like, hey, keep an eye on Tonka Hemingway. Maybe the guy's developed, but Kwity Paye kind of said the same thing. So at media day today, he said, Tonka Hemingway, I'm excited to see what he does. He's in here at 5 a.m. every single day working with Maxx Crosby. Then he also threw it in there. Laulu, Koonce, I think, are very underrated. JJ Pegues, there's a lot of guys on the D-line I'm excited to see this season. So to me, what I take from this quote is that he's really talking about Tonka Hemingway. Of course, Maxx Crosby, because Tonka's in there with Max. But, Laulu and even Koonce. I think based off of this, I'm hearing that Kwity Paye is excited for Tonka Hemingway, Laulu, as well as Koonce. So those are the 3 guys, man, to kind of keep an eye on this season. Now, obviously for me, and I think Koonce is already a very, very good football player. If he recovers and he's fully healthy post ACL tear, I think Koonce ends up going for 12 sacks this season. He's our full-time starting defense man, which I do think he will end up being. But also, don't overlook the fact that if Koonce is fully healthy and he gets back to form, which I think he will, we just saw the Steelers give a huge contract to Nick Herbig. I think $25 million per season, and Herbig is kind of like Koonce in terms of they're both, I don't want to use the word backup, they're like that third rotational player for the Steelers. Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt are really their starters. And then Nick Herbig comes in and rotates in, and he's elite, right? He's absolutely elite, which is why he got the money he got. And then Koonce, I think, kind of fits in that same category. If Koonce did not get hurt, I think he would have gotten that type of money. But I think as he recovers, as we go into this next season, and he flashes, he's going to end up getting paid as well. But again, just getting back to the quote, for Kwity Paye to say Tonka Hemingway as well as Laulu, I mean, those are 2 guys, man, we really need them to step up. And Laulu, I'm a little bit less excited for just because I've already seen him now for 2 to 3 years. Usually if you're a really good football player, you flash pretty much in your first year or two. And Tonka Hemingway has had some flashes. In college, he was a very good pass rusher. Like, he was spinning, he was cross chopping, he was doing all these different pass rush moves. In the NFL, it didn't really translate, but usually for a defensive tackle, it's because of the speed of the game, right? It's just so much faster. So your moves don't work as well in your rookie season, but when you go into year two, you take a huge development because mentally everything slows down. So I'm excited to watch Tonka Hemingway, and the fact that Paye mentions him first and foremost, we'll see, man. If you get in there at 5 a.m. and you're working out with Maxx Crosby, and we know there's a couple of guys that do this, usually the effort you put in, it does pay off, right? Believe it or not. So I'm excited as hell for Tonka Hemingway, man. We'll see what ends up happening. Got one final thing, just a quick little update. Levi Dombro, I believe I say his last name. Shout out to him, man, for capturing this. He says Nakobe Dean is at the Raiders Media Day. I saw him in the background walking with a staffer during Paul Gaultier's time on the set. Thanks to this person to bringing it to my attention. So, shout out to Levi, man, for seeing this. And I don't know if he saw this because he was there or if he saw this on the Raiders live website or whatever. But Nakobe Dean's in the building, man. And this isn't shocking because he's been in the building. But as you guys know, there's been rumors the last couple of days where people are like, hey, where's Nakobe Dean? It's funny because before Nakobe Dean, it was, hey, where's Taron Johnson? Is he going to be there? Is he not going to be there? And the day he shows up, you get these rumors that now where's Nakobe Dean? They're almost like people shift from one guy to the next, just have a little bit of gossip a little bit and have a little bit of negativity. We should look back, man, and see who really started that Nakobe Dean rumor. But Nakobe Dean, he has been in the building multiple times. He obviously had a child, so it makes sense that he's kind of spending time with his child, newborn baby. And he is in the building. He was there, obviously, for Media Day today. And tomorrow, we have mandatory minicamp. So tomorrow is day one of, I don't even want to say day one, right? Because OTAs has already technically started. Mandatory minicamp, you just add a little bit more. But, this is the final time these guys are going to get to be together until training camp comes around. And, the first 3-4 practices of training camp probably won't be all that much. But, by the time the 5th or 6th camp practice comes around, pads will be on. So, you don't have a whole lot of time from this point forward if you haven't been there. So these next 3 days are going to be very, very important. There it is, man. Let me know what you guys think, man. What are you guys' thoughts? How do you guys feel? Nakobe Dean, Maxx Crosby, adding weight, Kolton Miller. Am I overrating Kolton Miller? I think he's a phenomenal player, but let me know what you guys think. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.